The car scene. Momo and Okarun's perfect moment. A moment that exists between moments because their love is hidden, tucked away between the pages of the story, waiting for spaces quiet enough to breathe. And this scene captures everything about them so well. But what does it all mean? From the very start, these two have pushed each other to embrace their real selves. They're two people who have spent so long in hiding, developing and wearing masks that they use to hide from the world. Okarun hides a longing to connect, locked away and buried after years of cruelty from others. And Momo hides her strangeness, keeping her brightest colours hidden in the dark, afraid that those that she cares for will be mocked if she ever brings them to the surface. Together they learn to bring these traits out, to balance each other, to embrace what they want, and they do this in secret. Coming together is what set them on their journey, and they did this through establishing a quiet space between spaces for just the two of them. A bubble where the world can't touch them. Even from the start, in dark, decaying places away from reality with just one connection, a lifeline to another soul, talking to each other, alone yet together. And this is where they first learn to let their guards down and connect, as well as to understand themselves better because of this budding bond. And these secret spaces are where Momo and Okarun's love flourishes. The hardships of the world, the cruelty of other people, the judgment of prying eyes, none of this matters because their personal, intimate world exists away from everyone, everything else. A space where only they exist. Him and her. And this is where everything happens. In this world between worlds, they learn to work together, to be vulnerable, to expose themselves, to forge a trust, and ultimately to reach out and extend this connection beyond their original quest. Finding chances to sneak away, to have special moments between just the two of them. A longing look, a gentle farewell, and with that, a relationship that's so special. Something unique, unlike anything else, something that thrives on the quiet, personal, tucked away moments between moments. Riddled with doubt, vagueness, and uncertainty, neither of them know exactly what any of this means, and so they allow these secluded moments of insecure something to just happen without ever attributing a clear, definitive meaning to it. Until it's almost too late. As Momo held Okarun's hand in their quiet moment of shared connection, she promised that she would return to save him. An inspiration and realization of what these moments really mean. When she thought that he died in the lava of the volcano, she ran with everything that she had, pushing past her limits and willing to even sacrifice her life to save him, because she realized that these moments are everything to her. Momo is a searcher. She's searching for her Ken Takakura, and it's only in thinking that she may have lost him now that she realizes that she found him. When he turns out to be fine, she sees him, really, truly sees what he means to her, and so she reaches for him, crashes into him and lets everything, all the rawest feelings flow from her soul. And it's at this point that Momo knows what she wants. Him. And so when they ride together in the back seat and come across another one of these moments, she secures it. Because this time, she won't waste a single second in doubt. On the way to see Gigi's parents after the end of the chaos of fighting the evil eye, Momo takes the opportunity to capture this moment. Her hand brushes past Okarun's as they sit together in the back seat, and there's a quiet in the air. Her pinky lands on his for just a second. It's not long, but it's enough to realize the connection between them. The hum of the engine and the innocent response from Okarun, it's incredibly hard to put into words. It's genuine. It's powerfully just so human. The butterflies are in your stomach as you watch this scene. In an anime about ghosts, aliens, and murderous death worms, this is the moment that gives you goosebumps. This is the interaction that makes your feet want to fall from beneath you, and the way that this scene is filmed is so masterfully executed. Momo tells Okarun to put his hand back and we're introduced to the space between them. And this is a shot that we're going to return to so many times, because the majority of the frame is made up of nothing. There's a clear void that takes up so much of the screen, specifically the area between Momo and Okarun. It sits in the center of the camera as though the negative space itself is the subject, our main focus. The eye is drawn to it and we're made so very aware of this void that exists between them, this barrier, and Momo is aware of it as well. But she can't just dive in. Crossing that space all the way is just too much all at once, too brave, too telling of her heart's desires, especially in a car filled with the people that they have to sneak away from so that they can have their private moments together. However, as the car heads into the tunnel, they have a short time of privacy, a shroud to hide their feelings. A gush of wind and the world goes quiet, and that space between them grows heavier. Between a boy and a girl. A girl with a plan. Momo wants to cross this boundary, to create a gentle, subtle bridge to make that empty space just a little bit fuller. And that distance that exists between them has become altered in this hidden haven, because something is different now. Previously, the balanced, even daylight filled out the space between them with a clear illumination, drawing our eye to that empty space and forcing us to take note of it, as well as symbolically representing that they could never close this gap without being seen. This changes the instant that they connect. The lighting shifts to a warm, soft glow of the tunnel engulfing the car through its windows. They both stare out of the window, faces unreadable, hiding what their hands are about to say. And this lighting is so central to the scene, because it makes Momo and Okarun the subjects now. The space between them is shrouded in shadow now, and it's their faces that are lit. The light washes over them and we hone in on their expressions. It's warm and soothing, and it invites us to feel the love in the air, with a haziness that makes Momo's slow yet playful motions across Okarun's hand feel like electricity. The slowly dancing light lends a certain cadence to her motions, a whimsical ghostliness to the actions that Momo performs, as if she's drifting into something. With each step that Momo's hand takes towards Okarun's, the gravity of that heavy, empty space becomes something to fall into, a bridge between their two bodies. She's pushing the boundaries of what she's comfortable with, a gentle nudge towards a growing romance, and an attempt to see if he would dare to keep his hand still in reciprocation. Each frame stretches yet slips by so quickly, and it's just so intoxicating to watch. In viewing, our hearts race, as the lights of the tunnel ebb and flow, bloom and fade, distinctly in rhythm with the beating of their hearts. The lighting literally pulses like a heartbeat. Because there are so many wonderful elements of masterful storytelling woven into every facet of the direction here. And that same heartbeat in the lighting is a rhythmic dyad between light and dark, a symbol of inner conflict. They're so unsure of their feelings, they're so afraid of their actions, but still they push forward because it feels so right, all at the same time. They're here between two worlds, and that's what a tunnel is, isn't it? A silent haven from reality linking two worlds together. A place that's reflective of the start of their journey, somewhere so private that oftentimes even phones may lose their connection to the outside world. The light and dark embodies this. They're between two states. Their hearts are aflutter, their senses diminished, all except for that focus on this shared moment of contact. They look aimlessly into the distance, away from each other's gaze, yet strangely in sync. Even in looking away from each other, it feels like they're looking into each other, somehow. They hear nobody else in the car, only the sound of their shared hesitations can be heard. And the main event, their hands. With every single motion stretching for eternity, and each sensation like lightning to the senses. Momo plays with his hand, while wrapping it up in excuses. to meekly cover her desires in this plausible deniability of it being a game. One that Okarun doesn't know the rules to. And this is everything that he wanted. He made his decision that he loves her. He knows it to be true. But how could he believe that she might love him too? He invents an excuse to try to rationalize why this wonderful girl might be holding his hand so tenderly, as if to convince himself to walk back that voice in his head telling him that this might be it. But the music betrays his inner thoughts. The song Okarun's Life plays gently, because this is his life. This is the meaning of it, what it's been leading up to. Someone who truly sees him, who honestly, truly wants him. And so he keeps his hand still, daring not to interrupt. And then Momo gives up the pretense of this being a game at all, and rests her hand on his. If only for a breath. This is nice. This is right. And as she does this, she has officially closed that distance, which is reverberated in the framing of the next shot, where once we saw these two so flatly, plainly, from straight ahead as we watched, and we were forced to focus on the space between them. Now the shot reframes this angle completely, looking at them from the side, an angle in which there is no space between them at all. That space is completely obscured, because this is what Momo was aiming for, trying to close that gap, and now it doesn't matter at all, because they're one. Even though it's obvious, she still isn't ready to speak her feelings. Momo is a doer. She acts. She performs the depths of her soul in a way that words could never do. When Okarun asks her what the rules of the game are, she plays stupid, but her actions have spoken everything that she needs to express. After almost losing Okarun to the chaos of everything that just happened, the fear of running to him, her bravery in being ready to die for him, and the indescribable catharsis of crying into his chest as she held him, Momo knows what she almost lost, her opportunity to show him the depth of her feelings, and advance this bond that defies characterization into something real, something irrefutable. Feelings that she's only just started to understand herself. Feelings that force themselves to the surface. Feelings that she simply cannot ignore. Because that moment was emotional relief, it was a pure expression in the face of overwhelming tension, a release of all of her worst worries. But this isn't like that. This car scene is so different, because there is no fear of death. There are no threats around them, there's no evil eye, no Tsuchinoko, no volcano's magma poised to swallow them both up. Just a boy and a girl sitting side by side in the backseat of a car. She does this not because their lives are in any danger, but because she chooses to do it. She chooses to reach out to him. She wants to feel that he's safe, a safety that she can guarantee by locking his hand in hers. After all, the spaces between her fingers are right where his fit perfectly. She wants to do this because she wants to do this. Up until now, their feelings have taken a back seat, but now, in the back seat, they're front and center. However, the nature of life is that nothing can last forever. These small windows of connection disappear as quickly as they come. Whether it's looking at each other before being interrupted, or the few seconds to escape the chaos of the house to say see you tomorrow, or even holding hands while being hunted by an enemy, there's always a time limit. The ephemerality of this is what makes every moment so powerful. Seizing the small time that they have with sensations that carry weight is why they hit so hard. And the tunnel is the perfect stand-in for this fleeting privacy, the bubble that will pop. And as quickly as it disappeared, we're reintroduced to this space between them once more, from behind them now so that we can see the light of reality fill the distant exit. Because the beauty of framing this inside of a tunnel is that it gives us a visual metaphor for that time limit that plagues these moments between them. As Momo squeezes his hand, reassuring him that everything is fine, the blinding light bursts through the scene and the chaos of the car comes flooding back into the forefront. Gigi screams to Momo and they quickly retreat to their seats, putting their hands in their laps. embarrassed about the fact that they were almost caught. Because while these two can be vulnerable when they're alone together, they can't do that out in the bright light of the world. Just yet. They're disappointed because they want that time back. And that space between them, that distance, that void, grows larger once more. So much so that even Saiko can see the space between them. Because you know that she knows what just happened, which is something I love about this version of the scene. And while that time in the tunnel has passed, its meaning carries forward. Momo and Okarun's perfect opportunity to show each other what their next step is, what it looks like, what it has in store for them, that this thing that they feel for each other is reciprocated, and that their love doesn't need words. Not right now. It just needs a moment. A few stolen seconds. Because sometimes, a moment between moments is enough.